welcome back to Lex Reads. So in today's video, we are doing what? September wrap up. As you guys know, in my wrap up, I do movies, books, and music that I listen to the whole entire month. This month, I read a good amount of books and watched a lot of movies and TV shows. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about that part. But yeah, let's just get started. Okay, so first for the books. I read, two physical books. And then I listened to 7 books, okay? So for the 2 physical books, the first was Fumble by Alexa Martin. This is a, Black romance. I actually did a read a book in one day video, featuring this book and really enjoyed it. With this book, this is my first time reading this author. You have a young woman named Poppy. Poppy was a teenage mother at 16. She leaves, goes to another state, lives with her aunt. Then years later, her high school sweetheart comes back into her life, and all these secrets and truth are unfolded and told. The guy, what was his name? Oh, TK. TK is a famous football player, and you see the world. And you see, his world being in NFL and, all the fame and glory and, women. This was a kicker off to reading romance basically all the month of September. Next was our book club pick for September, Dances by Nicole Cuffey. This, I'm going to give it a 2-3. We had a really good discussion and we all basically rated it 2 stars. Saw that the synopsis was a young Black girl, 22 years old, that becomes a principal dancer. But I was so excited to read it, and then when I was reading it, only thing that came to my mind the whole entire time, y'all, was this book is so flat. Yeah, that's all I gotta say, y'all. Let's get into the audio books. So I was on the Audible kick also because, like I said, of the Fumble book. I got on a romance kick and I went back to Alexandria House. Alexandria House has become one of my favorite Black romance writers. She's just fantastic. I discovered her, I want to say almost 2 years ago, and oh, she is just amazing. First, I listened to the McLean Brothers. That was 4 books in a series, and I did a whole review on it because I just was so, oh my goodness, overjoyed and loved that series. I'm I gotta dedicate a whole video just to, give her props. Love that, series. And then after that, I wanted to read a little bit more, and I read Set, which is Them Brothers series. Now there's 3 books in the series. I only read the first one because I don't have the second and third one available to me. I would have to buy it and I'm too cheap right now. So I'm gonna wait until those become free on my Audible, and then I'll read them. But that one, it's a novella. It was only I want to say, was it 2 hours or something? That one was really, really sexy. You have a young woman, she's 40, she has a child, and she starts to, I don't want to say, it's kind of like a long distance relationship. It looks like they just get together to, but it develops over time. They knew each other when they were in high school, but they didn't really talk. And yeah, like I said, it's a novella. It's short and sweet. It's extremely it's spicy. Okay. I would rate it an erotica. Last book I read by her was Higher Love, and that was a Love After series. I just read the first one. I know there's 3 books in that series, and I actually have them all available to me, but it didn't really do nothing for me. I mean, I might listen to them, but yeah, it was about a blogger, a travel blogger named Greer. I think her fiance ends up ghosting her, and he gets married to another woman while she's on a work trip. And so she meets this guy and has a one-night stand, but then it develops even more. And that's something I actually would excuse me, that's something I actually would like, that sounds kind of odd, but y'all know what I mean. But I don't know. You know what it was? I know what it was. The narrating. The girl that did the voice of the Greer, I didn't really like her. I think that's what messed me up. Maybe if it was another like narrator, I probably would have stuck it out. So yeah, that was why I didn't finish the series. But yeah, like I said, it's a one and done for that one. That's it for the books. Again, I had a romance kick. I think I get on kicks of stuff, so I'm done with the romance for a while. I have to take breaks a little bit with romance. You know, I could read a good amount and then I'm like, okay, I want to read something else. So maybe in a couple of months I may go back to it, but yeah, for right now I'm all romanced out. All right, next let's go to movies, TV shows. Whew, I did a lot, y'all. I watched documentaries, TV series, movies, all of it. Okay, so the first movie I watched was The Glass Castle, and that's actually based on a book by Janetta Wells. Now, this was unbelievable. I think I watched this on Netflix, I want to say. You have a young girl. Her family, they're basically squatters. They lived in houses that didn't have no electricity. Them kids was hungry and everything. And the parents, they knew that, but they were nomads. You know what I mean? That daddy, first of all, that daddy was played by Woody Harrelson. Fantastic. He embodied that dad. I'm a fan of Woody Harrelson, okay, even back from like Cheers. But it was a scene where she had gotten older and he didn't want his kids to like leave, okay? And it was like, okay, first of all, we gotta go to college, we gotta get away, you know. And one of the sisters actually had to like escape basically to go, you know, to school. But she was saving her money and stuff like that. She was going to go to the same school that her sister went to. And she had like a piggy bank and it had all this change and money in it. And she had put it down in like a little, it was a place but you couldn't find it. You know that daddy found that and spent the money. And that scene got me. Why did you take my money? Why did you do that? And he just looking all, you know, stupid. And of course he was a drunk. Oh, girl, I could have beat that daddy. That got me. And I think, if I'm being honest, I don't think those parents, you have to not be all the way there to live like that. You know what I mean? That's not normal. And put kids through that, girl. But that one was really, really good. I encourage you guys to watch that. Then I watched 2 documentaries. The first documentary, this is very random, was about Lizzie Borden. Watch it on YouTube. Obviously, I've known about Lizzie Borden. After watching that documentary, I think she has something to do with that murder of her dad and stepmama. First of all, she didn't like her stepmama at all. And it was really weird how he would do the dad. He would lock the doors, but he would leave the key on like a dresser. So like the key would be open. And the day that he died, the day that him and his wife were murdered, he had locked the door because he would like lock the outside but the inside would be open. It was something weird like that. But he had locked the door and the maid had opened it, and they said Lizzie was sitting there laughing at him trying to open a door. Then they said Lizzie had changed her dress. Was she in the house when they were murdered? No, the maid was in the house when they were murdered, because what happened is the stepmom was already upstairs murdered. The dad came home. It had been hours and he went and sat on the couch and then, you know, he got murdered. So the lady had already been upstairs for a while dead, but the maid was at the house and the maid didn't do it. But I'm like, didn't the maid, clearly the way that they died, you had to hear something. And Lizzie wasn't there, but then Lizzie came back and had a change of clothing. Girl, watch that documentary. I'm sorry. I think that she did that. And yeah, I mean, Lizzie looked off in them eyes crazy. So she did that. She honestly did. And then the next documentary I watched was about Frederick Douglass. And also watch it on YouTube. Really, really good. I just know like bits and pieces of Frederick. One thing I did not know. I didn't know Frederick Douglass' second wife was a white woman. I did not know that. And they had people saying that he was like a traitor for that, and you know, just going at it. That was a shocker for me. That was what I took from that whole documentary. But again, that is a really good documentary. Okay, then the next movie I watched was It's Complicated. Love that movie. I actually own that movie, but I watched it on Netflix. It's with Meryl Streep, Alec Baldwin. You have, well, they're divorced and they're going to their son's graduation. They end up like hooking up, and then they realize, oh Lord, this was a mistake, and you just see how it goes. Also too, I love, if you've watched that, she's a baker and she owns a bakery. Her kitchen is like so pretty. Her whole house was so pretty. I love that scenery of that movie. So yeah. Next, I went to Hulu and I watched the other Black Girl series. Now, I actually bought that book for my birthday. It's somewhere over here. Oh yeah, I bought that book for $6 and I got it for my birthday. Only reason why I got it because it was $6, but I really had no intentions of really reading it. Then when I realized what it was about and I watched the show, I'm really not because I'm not into, like, you know, thrillers and horrors and fantasy type. That don't really do anything for me. And I didn't understand. I remember seeing this book. I'm like, I didn't understand why they have this comb here. And I'm like, oh, now I get it. Okay. Now, I did read the spoiler of the book, and then, because I want to see if it was different from the series, and it actually is. Now, although I did not read the book, but from what I read, and clearly, like I said, it was a spoiler like article about the book, I actually prefer the I think I prefer the series, because if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. There's something else, because yeah, I like the way it did end. But girl, I did not know what that was about. Was no like thriller aspect and all of that. So yeah, but overall, I did enjoy the series. I'm not gonna say I didn't enjoy the series. I would, if you're into that stuff, I would highly recommend it. It's worth watching, and honestly, it's worth watching. I watched it in about 2 days, and yeah. Next, I watched a movie called The Wife, and that is with Glenn Close. She actually was nominated. That was her recent nomination for an Oscar, which, why didn't I give Glenn Close her Oscar? That is ridiculous. But you have, oh, this was so good. I need to watch this again. You have a married couple. It starts off like, it's flashback. So it starts off when they're older. Her husband is a writer, and he has recently been, I don't know, like nominated for a Nobel Prize, and they're waiting to see if he got it. Well, he did. And you know, his wife and his wife and his son, they go to Stockholm. He can receive his, you know, award and things like that. But the backstory of that is the wife. I do not want to give it away. I don't even know if it's in the synopsis of the story. Oh, I don't want to give it away. Okay, I really don't want to give it away. I'm sorry, y'all. But like I said, it goes from like flashbacks to, you know, present time. In the flashbacks, you see how they get involved with each other. Now, he actually was a professor, and he ends up having he ends up getting with her, and they have a family, and da-da-da-da-da. Now, the flashbacks with the younger person that's playing Glenn Close's character, that's actually Glenn Close's daughter in real life. I thought that was really neat, because I watched like some behind the scenes. That movie was fantastic. She should have won an Oscar for that, because she did a fantastic job, and I was shocked, okay? And I actually was satisfied, and I was shocked, and I was satisfied, because it was realistic. Although you maybe had wanted it to go a different way, but I actually didn't. No, I didn't want it to go a different way. It was realistic. And it looked like I kind of wanted to get on a Glenn kick. So I watched, for the first time ever, you guys, ever, Fatal Attraction. I already knew how it was going to end and all of that, because I know the synopsis of the story, but I had never like fully watched it. Fantastic. Now, I'm going to say, it's a movie, it's a one and done. I don't need to watch it again, okay? Ooh, Alex got on my nerves. She just was bothering. And I don't want to just put it all on Alex, okay? Because what's the dude's name? He knew what he was doing, okay? You got a wife, kid. Why did you have that one night stand and do all that? And then clearly she was just off. Ooh, that bunny scene. And then when she kidnapped the kid or whatever. Oh my goodness. But that movie was fantastic. I also watched some interviews talking about that actually wasn't the original ending. The original ending, y'all already seen Fatal Attraction. The original ending, you guys know the ending, how the wife kills Alex, right? Well, it actually was supposed to be Alex was supposed to kill herself, like slit her throat, and then the knife that she used, it had oh, I forgot that man's name. It had old boy's fingerprints on there, so he was going to be framed for murder. But then they did what do you call it? Like a preview or whatever of the movie for some audience to watch, and it was like a kind of like a survey thing, and they were like, yeah, no, we want her to actually like be killed. So Glenn had to shoot that 6 months later for them to like finish the whole movie. So yeah, but there is a new like TV series that I'll put it up, the picture up. I actually had literally, I watched the trailer because I wanted to see what would, if it was going to be kind of similar. Actually, the first ending, of him like being framed for her murder. I don't want to see that because although they both were wrong, but I don't want to see him in jail and reflecting on that. No, and I already know it's going to be even more graphic because in the 80s it was graphic. Okay, that little sex scene, which, oh Lord, I didn't understand her putting water on each other. That, yeah, okay. Anyway, so you already know that was graphic. So I already know, and these days and times are going to be even more graphic. I don't want to see that. And like I said, I don't like the way that was him being in jail, reflecting on that now. But overall, fantastic movie. Another movie I watched is called Big Eyes, and that is kind of similar to The Wife. Oh, I forgot that artist's name. What was that lady's name? I'll put a picture up. She was an artist that she's known for those big eyes or whatever. But her husband lied and said that he had painted them and he was a painter and he did it. And it went on for years. And then finally, she said, you know what? I'm sick of this. I want people to know who, I am. And he made millions of dollars and stuff like that. And it came out that it was her. There was a court scene in the movie and also in real life. In the movie, they said, okay, we want to know who painted this. So in order to see that, we have to have you guys actually physically paint. So she's painting, doing, what she's supposed to do. He up there looking at the sketch and, oh, I need to, have a muse and something needs to come to me. And they're like, you only have an hour, dude. You need to hurry up. And then he like goes to pick up his paintbrush and he's like, oh, my arm, my shoulder. And he's like, I can't paint. And then they're like, okay, well, we know you a liar. So she won the case and she was able to use her name and da-da-da-da-da. Now, I know in real life, they said that he didn't even show up to court and said his shoulder was messed up. And then, of course, like I said, they granted, her the case. He never admitted to what he did. He said, no, he did paint those. But that didn't make sense to me because it's like, okay, you're saying that you did, but you never produced paintings ever. And you never even produced, like, the paintings that you said you did, which we know you did it. So I was like, dude, that lie was just stupid. You know what I mean? It didn't make any sense. And then in the movie, you find out that he actually really couldn't paint. That was so good. And also too, that movie was made like 2013 or something like that. The artist, she actually just died a couple years ago, but she was able to see her movie in theaters and meet Amy Adams that played her. Right, lastly, let's go to the music. Only full-length album that I listened to was, of course, my albums. It was my Natalie Cole album. I got this for my birthday. Fantastic. Love this album. My favorite song on this is, oh Lord, I have so many. Mr. Melody, Heaven Is With You, Sophisticated Ladies. She has a really good version of Good Morning Heartache. So yeah, and I love this album. Natalie was so pretty. And then the last song I had on rotation, independent artist, his name is Drew Scott. It's called Feelings. So it's such a pretty song. Oh my goodness. I'll put the performance down below. Oh my gosh, that boy can sing. And then the backup singers, such a good song. It's called, like I said, Feelings. And I've been playing it every time I get out Every time I get in my car and drive to work, I'll put that on. That's it when it comes to my September wrap up. Like I said, I had a really good September. It was my birthday month, and I read and watched a lot of movies, and that was my goal, because I think last month I didn't watch a lot of movies at all, and I was saying I wanted to watch more. So yeah, guys, that's all I have for you, and I'll be back with more Black Books. Bye.